of it do we need to learn to actually, progress in our careers, or become AI champions in our organization. So before, we start, I would just like, Piyush has given a small introduction. I'll just want to introduce myself, that in the space of artificial intelligence, I have, I've been acknowledged at London Tech Week as an AI innovator. Even in Startup India has acknowledged me. And, Tech in Asia, one of the leading publications, technology publications in Asia, has also kind of spoken about some of the work that I have done in the space of artificial intelligence. Uh, and you know in my last 2-3 years, where I've been a part of, helping companies adopt artificial intelligence and also execute them, I've worked on a lot of computer vision technologies, where we have installed cameras, using where we installed, AI based cameras, or used AI camera feeds to manage enterprises, employees, and a lot of other things. And I've worked in the space of fashion also considerable for a considerable amount of time. And I have done all this in the last 5 years, without coming from a established coming from an established university, or having, access to these kind of laptops, computers, systems, or neither having an access to, Andrew Angie kind of a mentor. But I have done all this by, slowly, gradually, back in 2015, when I started as an entrepreneur, founder of a AI company. And since then, I've been gradually working on multiple projects, multiple products, and also a part of teaching and coaching organizations in the space of artificial intelligence. And all this I've done has not been because neither had I access to this, or neither I was, one of these, for that matter, right? I'm not an and just I'm not a coding guy, or neither a, someone like that. So the story of mine has been that, in all my talks with corporates, students, with organizations, like consulting organizations, right, I have always spoken of one thing, and which I kind of truly believe in, that managers are not expected to code, right? But they're expected to define and lead and evaluate solutions. And same holds in the space of artificial intelligence, right? There is, although there was a recent PwC report which said, globally PwC 20, they published a report in 2020, where they said that 85% of the global CXOs, or the global CEOs, are saying that artificial intelligence will play a very, very crucial role in the success of their business. But if you see, the adoption rate amongst the management is pretty low, right? Maybe around 16%, and maybe up to 20, or maybe between in the range of 15 to 20%. And one single reason of doing was the fear of the unknown, the fear of coding, the fear of not knowing how artificial intelligence work, and how will it impact my business. This unknown factor has kind of led to low levels of adoption, right? But in my journey of, developing applications, and in my journey of coaching people in the last, there's one thing which I talk about everywhere, is the AI mindset, right? And this AI mindset is one of the most crucial skill that a manager needs to develop in today's world, where he can apply this mindset and approach to a problem and practically solve a problem for great results, right? So, and this mindset doesn't start from the fear of, like, doesn't start from coding, right? And this doesn't start from getting into the depth of algorithms, or getting into the, trying to understand every space of artificial intelligence, but more from a product mindset, that how this product of artificial intelligence can help me deliver a result, or a business success, or solve a business problem, right? So going back, to saying that managers are not expected to do code, but they're expected to define, lead, and evaluate solutions, and for which I have been kind of working on, I've been working on this course that we have developed at Pragmatic Leaders also, where we are also, the focus of this program is to build the core skills that a manager needs to, uh, develop an AI mindset and become an AI champion in their organization or solve AI problems, right? So that's what the whole program is about, which the application for this cohort is still going on, and which closes on 28th November. All right. So this is one AI mindset, right, which is very, very critical in all what you learn as a manager and what are you expected as a manager to implement in an organization. All right. So we all understand, right, what is artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence, if simply put, is, we are trying to build these machines having similar capability of a human brain. And there are two important capabilities which specifically we are trying to build. One is the critical thinking ability, and second is the problem solving ability. So these two abilities is what we are trying to build in a machine learning or in artificial intelligence, for that matter, right? And if you see that artificial intelligence did not come today, right? It is back in 1950s that, it started as a methodology to make machines intelligent, and, programming programs to make machines intelligent, right? but it it has kept evolving over a period of time. So from 1980s to the 2006, right, was the time when artificial intelligence transformed into machine learning, where we gave the machines the ability to learn without being explicitly programmed. All right. And this was the time when, on a lot of structured data, machine learning algorithms could deliver great results, right? But in our world, right, where data is more about images, videos, not sound, and so many other things, that this kind of machine learning algorithms or machine learning techniques were not being able to uh, derive a lot of insights from this unstructured data. And then comes 2010 and 2017, the golden years of artificial intelligence, when deep neural network came into being because of the progress in the processing power, right? And today, with machines are able to see, machines are able to hear, and machines are even able to generate content, right? They become slowly become so intelligent today, right? And the reason why artificial intelligence has come out of the closet today, right, and now the whole world is talking about it, is because, is because actually the value it is delivering, right? Artificial intelligence today is delivering so much value. So back in 2010, when machine learning was at its peak, right, uh, companies like Google, Amazon. So Google made the best search engine in the world. Amazon made the best recommendation engine in the world. Netflix was about, creating great personalization, personalized recommendation again. Facebook created personalized feeds. Spotify became one of the synonyms for music, and same as Apple, right? So all these big tech companies were only using machine learning that point of time, and you could not see the applications of artificial intelligence beyond the tech industry, right? So it was, back in 2000 2010, the major use cases and the major application of machine learning was limited to technology companies, right? But with the advent of greater processing power, right, as we kept on improving our technology, the processing power kept on improving. So we moved from CPU to CPU is central processing unit to a graphical processing unit to a tensor processing unit. What it has done is that it has given the capability of running these big deep learning and machine learning algorithms on small machines, and these small machines are now available on cloud, right? When this kind of computational power was available to the bigger masses, to everyone probably having a laptop was able to access GPUs and TPUs, right? Was when the advent of deep learning came, and it became a big success. And what it led to do was, because what was happening with the greater with greater processing power, we were able to now process a greater amount of data, right? We were able to service larger neural nets, and because of which the performance, you know, of your model became so better, right? That eventually now every industry wants a pie of artificial intelligence to help them perform the best, right? And this has been made possible because of the transition on both sides, one on the algorithm side, and also the technology to process these algorithms have moved in the last 5 years at such a rapid pace that now companies, organizations, and even individuals, right, have the capability to do today build AI applications without needing to be, running a supercomputer or anything. But now they can do it with a simple laptop and an internet connection, and that internet is connected to your cloud, right? So eventually, because of this democratization, is where this democratization of technology, ease of access, and great performance is now making all the industries believe and understand that if they use artificial intelligence, they will reap great benefits going forward, right? And so today is when, you know, AI is not limited to the Googles or to the Netflix or to the Amazon or to the biggest tech players in the industry, but now it has started percolating across industries, and within industries it has started percolating across industry functions, right? So let's take a very simple example of how Mastercard is using a chatbot to redefine retail experience, right? So currently, or maybe they had experimented where they were running a chatbot application, called Mastercard Kai, where you could look at, any time of the day, any time of the year, if you want to know how much, what for the last 5 transactions, or what kind of offers Mastercard has for you, or which is the nearest Mastercard ATM around you. Now, all those services were being offered 24 cross 7 to their customers, right? Thanks to artificial intelligence and chatbot applications, right? They were able to refine their customer, they were able to give better customer service, right, today with the using of this. So, this is a good application for a financial sector, right? Let's look at where other did it implement. An interesting application was in the farmland, right? So today, there are applications where using, computer vision, which is a field of artificial intelligence, uh, farmers are using it to precisely for precision spray of, insecticides and pesticides, right? To basically kill the pest on, and not spraying the whole field. So now they don't need to spray the whole field to kill the pest. But what they can do use is these kind of robots, where robots travel, identify the pest, look at the pest, and spray it only on the pest. What it leads to, of course, this leads to great better produce, right? So you will have better produce. Second, you will have, organic food coming to you, right? And third is that it saves money, and it saves money and offers great quality, and so farmers are happy to use this kind of solution, right? So now if you see, from banking we are talking about agri. Okay, now let's look at another application of artificial intelligence where it is helping to make a better world, right? So it is helping people with disabilities, right, or they are especially challenged, right? It is helping them to see the world from a new angle, right? Now it is getting people to watch, it is getting people to hear, it is getting people to speak, right? With whosoever has a speech disability or has vision disability, it is allowing people and making it a better world for them, right? So it has applications in healthcare, right, and other kind of things, right? And eventually also one another interesting application is where AI is also being used to make players better, right? Actually, and it is not, it is true that Djokovic also uses artificial intelligence to analyze his own game, analyze his competitors game, and figure out and analyze that what kind of shot and at what intensity should I hit so that I can win a point over a competitor, right? So now you see that this all these applications which I'm talking about, the role of an AI engineer or data scientist and an ML expert is not more than 30%, right? And it is not actually possible for to build these amazing applications that we have right across industries. It's not merely possible for a data scientist or on only an ML engineer to build it, right? Because a team is required to solve a problem, right? To solve a problem, you need the sales guy also to understand artificial intelligence, the product guy to understand that, to understand the requirement and then plug in that how he can do and how effectively he can build a great application for to solve the problem of the client or the problem of the business. For that matter, for an entrepreneur, it becomes critical to understand that can AI first, at the first level, they need to understand that can AI help me solve this problem more effectively, right? It starts from there and then it percolates to multiple points before it actually reaches the engineering team to solve the problem. So if the engineering team doesn't solve the problem until and unless the scope is not defined, the problem is not defined, the understanding is not defined. Otherwise, it will always be a Chinese whisper or a problem that always product manager and a tech team always fights on, right? So the one thing that the requirements were not clear, what I had to make was not clear, right? And the biggest problem is because uh, AI first needs to be understood, then applied, right? And that's the problem with us thinking that we need to become an AI engineer, uh, and that's not true. Because before becoming an AI engineer, what you need to understand is that how will AI help you solve that business problem, right? And then eventually, majorly in all my product executions, all my AI project executions, which I've done in the last 5 years or in the last 3 years, I can bet you, I can tell you the role is of the real work of a data scientist and an AI engineer is limited to 30%. The first 70% is so crucial from starting to understand the problem, starting to understand, to develop a solution, design a solution, and then have the right technology and the right approaches. And then it should reach the data scientist, or a data scientist can also play a role in the starting. But if the management or if the managers or if the non-tech people do not understand the concept, right, then these two parts will never come together to make a great product, right? So that is the criticality of understanding artificial intelligence, developing an AI mindset, which will help you to talk to your team, drive your team, define the problem, define the scope, and many more things, right? So And the part of this program which we have developed at Pragmatic Leaders, our focus is to make you develop that AI mindset so that you can apply that in your organization, right? Just now, in the next part of the presentation, we will just take a simple problem and try to understand that how a person without having an understanding of AI would have thought of solving a problem, but someone who has an AI mindset, how did they actually solve the problem effectively so that it got covered in the national news, and the product managers and the project managers who developed it got globally recognized for what they did, right? Before I move to that part of the section, I just wanted to, just I got an information uh, that for all the people who are attending today's session. So as we said that we are running a program, so our last program was slated to start on 1st of November, which is already full. The cohort already got full and it started on 1st November. We are starting a new session on 28th of November, for which the registrations are now open. Um, and of course, we are keeping the registrations to be limited because we want to be very focused in our program delivery. So still the registration is open. Second, the good part, today's announcement, just Piyush just pinged me that we are offering up 25% discount on our current program that we are running, right? So, and this 25% discount is a festive offer that we want to roll out on this festive season. All right. And Piyush would be sharing the modalities on the chat thereafter. All right. Great. Now let's look at what we are going to look at is a problem, right? A business problem, and it's a real life business problem, which was solved very beautifully. But let's just go through a role play and try to understand that how could the problem be solved with two different approaches. Okay, so IRCTC is to our Indian folks, maybe they're familiar with IRCTC, which is Indian Railway, which basically helps Indian Railways for catering and for ticketing, right? So it's a government organization, semi-government organization, which takes care of ticketing and catering. So basically, food catering in the trains, right, in India, right? So and IRCT is one of the most used service in railways, right? And our Indian Railways is probably one of the biggest railways, is red railway network in the world. So IRCTC has a very, very big task of serving food and good food to their people who are traveling in the train, right? So one service is ticketing, but the next service of IRCTC is to deliver good food on the train to all the people who are traveling. But uh, they are also, infamous for some reasons. For the last, in the last 3 4 years, there have been some instances where IRCTC, because it's a huge network. There are nothing less than thousands of kitchens running in each nook and corner of the country, right? There are bound to be issues. There are bound to be hygienic issues. There are bound to be issues of a cockroach entering the food and everything, right? And that was earning a lot of disrespect to IRCTC. Their brand value was being hit. People were talking about that. Why can't they? We are paying so much money. Why can't they offer great service to us? Uh, and this was a very big problem that IRCTC was facing. And to scale a solution of this problem to more than thousands of kitchens across the nation was not an easy task, right? So as a manager, right, as a business head of the catering system, of the catering service, or the business manager, Now, because there are so many people who are talking about bad food, bad experience, and sharing it on Twitter. The leadership has come down heavy on the management and have asked that you need to improve your hygiene score. The CSAT scores have to improve, and you have to reduce the number of complaints by 50%. Right? And the leadership is sitting on your head, right? That give me something to prove a point that we are doing something about it, right? Now, you as a business manager or as a business vertical head are required to kind of work out a solution, because now it's a problem for you to solve, right? Uh, the, Now the important thing out here is that as a business manager, what would you do or think? You take out a second. I'll just ask you to take out a second and think about it. That if you were to solve this kind of a business problem, right? Then what would you have done? Right. So what, as a business manager, when someone have that you need to, so you have thousands of kitchen. This is a problem that you need to maintain hygiene. You have to improve your CSAT score. So what could you have done as a business manager to, you know, to achieve this? And when the leadership is sitting on you and expecting you to deliver some great result, right? So would you like to share that in the chat? Right, I'll just do a stop share here, and so everyone, can you think of something, or if you want to open up your mic, you can speak also. That what could you have thought, that what you could have done, right, to solve this problem? Anyone wants to put that in the chat, or have a simply
So,
share?
hi, my name is Ishan. I'm a
Okay,
product
Manish Mehta
manager
says,
in Kiranex.
of
Yeah.
course, you could have set up a complaint help desk. All right. So setting up a complaint head desk. All right. Raghuram says we could have
It's a more
penalized
operational
the vendor.
challenge.
Right. Uh,
It's more
all
kind of
right. So this
operational
could
challenge,
kinds of
I
some kind
see.
of actions I could have take. I could have set up a call. Maybe I could have set up a call center rather than setting a help. Saying like what Manish says, that you could set up a help desk where people could have told about their queries. We could have penalized the vendor, right? What more? Any more? Or could we have done? All right, great, Zitash, right? Exists, Zishan. SOP, we could have set some SOPs for the vendor, right? But assume that we're not running a vendor. Uh, these are people who are employed by you only, right? So in that case, let's look at that setting up the standard operating, but the standard operating procedure is already in place. It's just that it is not followed, right? It is not followed, and it is getting very difficult for the IRCTC in totality, right, to manage those thousands of vendors. The SOPs are defined, but they are not being followed, and it is very difficult for them to identify who went wrong and what went wrong, right? Anyone else? Okay. All right. Rohit says give live feedback. Found out where they are going wrong. Okay. So right, but Zishan, the city camera in the kitchen. All right. So they have CCTVs right now, uh, and but managing those 1,000 people 24/7. How do they do it? So, but you can have a camera there, and the camera can keep looking at it, right? Okay, got it, Zishan. You are there. All right. So, as everyone mentioned, so I'll close it now, and I'm sharing my screen again. Great, Zishan. All right, cool. Just give me 1 second. Okay. All right. So, these are some of the things usually traditionally we do. right? So we would do regular disinfection of the kitchen. We would do monitor CCTV cameras. We can have a strict compliance check, and then we do an heavy penalty, right? But all of these are traditional methods of doing what we have been doing for very long, right? It will of course improve, it will improve the service, it will improve the hygiene. But the critical part today is that as managers or as business leaders, we're expected to do more with less, right? And that is the key of you progressing in your career, right? If you are able to do more with less is what the key thing is all about, right? And having an AI mindset, right, what would have helped you to do was develop this kind. So IRCTC has done this, right? So what Zishan mentioned, IRCTC is now doing video analysis using AI. But that video analysis is talking about headgear detection. So they are looking at whether the person is wearing a headgear or not. Then looking at uniform detection, whether the chef is wearing a uniform or not. They're also doing flow mopping detection, right? And they're also doing animal detection, right? So what this helped them was, it took them a good 2 years, 1.5 years, 2 years to get the right people in, get the start understanding, get the management buy-in, right? And eventually they went on to develop this system, which, using computer vision, they did video analytics, and they were able to identify rodents, chefs wearing caps, cleanliness, attendance, employee behavior, right? And this project took time. It was not that it just happened in 6 months or it happened in a year, right? It took a good 2.5 years to develop this kind of an application or get this application developed by someone. But what is critical here to understand that this was not a work of one data scientist, or this was not a work of a data science team sitting together and working on this, right? So first and the foremost step when it happened was the leader reached out to the management, that management, this is the problem, let's work on it, right? Having said that, right, so my fair assumption is, right, after the requirement was in place, it was not that it was directly fed into the engineering team, right, and get the engineering team to develop it, right? So first you will have to think of the idea, right? You first, and second, you need to develop an understanding that how will it work, because you have to convince the management, right, to do it. Else, otherwise, it's not a project, but you need to have your understanding. So as Zishan said, okay, we can use video analytics using computer vision, but then you need a buy-in of the management also, right? You need to understand. So to get the buy-in of the management, you need to know how will it work and how does it work, right? Then after that, if the management has agreed and everything is, then secondly, importantly, you have to develop the scope of the project, right? How much, what kind of, what kind of compliances will we check? What should be the accuracy of my model? Will it be possible to do it on 1,000 or not? What kind of models will be used? Will we be able to do this? Will we be able to do that? What kind of, how do I do all that? You define the scope of the project, then you define the requirements and you design the solution. Because if you don't design the solution with the engineering team, it will just be coming trying to make authentic Chinese in an American restaurant, right? You don't want to do that, right? Because you, until and unless you're a part of the team, you are a part of the designing the solution. The engineering team and the management team, when comes together, product management, project management, the tech team comes together, then they're able to deploy the solution, develop the solution in sync, right? You have to get the buy-in of the tech team. You need to deploy the solution, right? So of course, technology team will deploy, but you are the responsible person for it to be deployed successfully. Then the most critical part, how do you evaluate the success, right? And how do you fine tune the solution? I have been a part of a lot of these, a couple of projects where the where the requirements were directly shared with the tech team without scoping the problem, without developing a good understanding, without designing the solution. It was directly put with the tech team, and it failed. The project failed big time. Not the fault of the tech team, not the fault of the requirement guy, but the problem was lying in the middle management, where the middle management thought that we don't know artificial intelligence. Let's just throw the problem to the technical team and let them tell our solution, right? And it just miserably failed. And in the recent interview of all these big folks from Microsoft and Google and everything, that today the biggest need of the hour is people who have AI skill set, right? And it was not that they are looking for AI skills. They're not looking for coding skills, right? They're looking for people who are skilled in AI, right? And skilling of AI at different level is different, right? Everyone does not need to start from Python, right? I can assure you that. So these are the steps which you are, as a manager, you will have to be a part of all those steps, right? And for being a part of all these steps, right, what you need to have and very critically have is an AI mindset, right? Uh, and when you develop these kinds of solutions, and when these kinds of solutions get acknowledged across the company, and even the media, the IRCTC news was covered by all the media in the world, uh, and of course you get applauded, you get you get applauded for your for great thinking, for positive thinking, and everything, right? And you become a champion in what you do. So, back in 2006, 2008, when agile methodology, right, was just in the coming, right? That time I remember agile technology when I used to work as a part of an engineering team. That time agile technology had just come in, right, back in 2006, 2008. But today, cut to 2020, 2020, sorry. Uh, Cut to 2020 today, and agile, the need of agile is today everywhere, right? So if you are a product manager, or you're a project manager, for that matter manager, you know uh, having having worked in an agile environment, having a knowledge of agile methodology has become one of the crucial differentiator. Not, it's now a must, it's no more a differentiator for you, right? But in the times, similarly, artificial intelligence today may not be the must, right? But in the times to come, it is today one of the biggest differentiator in your resume and in your way of thinking of solving the problem, right? So that is what makes successful product managers, successful project managers, that how you differentiate and ride the wave of new technology. And for me, that new technology, at the core of all the new technologies, is artificial intelligence, right? So that is the thing. Now coming back, to our main topic, that what are the core skills that web managers are expected to learn. All right. So I have been harping on one point again and again, because the reason is, when you tell someone something, and my key message from this session today is for you guys to understand that what is an AI mindset and why do you need it, and we can certainly help you develop that through our program. But I need this session is specifically is for the first two parts, that what is AI mindset and why do I need to develop it, and how. So I've done what and why. Now I'm talking about how do you develop it. All right. And now my important thing is, what is an AI mindset, right? So it's important to critically understand that what is an AI mindset. Okay, I've been talking about it, uh, but what is it, right? What does it mean? Okay, I have a mindset, but with a small example, I will try to tell you what is an AI mindset. Okay, all right. Uh, so assume that you are my travel agent. Okay, and I am going on the hills with my wife. All right, and given a choice between a Ferrari and a Land Rover, which would you suggest me? And you can put that in the chat. So, which car would you suggest me to go in the mountains? Any answers? Okay, Land Rover, right? And I think usually the answer is a Land Rover for a majority of the people. But let's look at the okay. For me and my wife, if you were to tell me that which car should I pick, what would that be? A Ferrari or a Land Rover, right? So a lot of people would suggest that to be a Ferrari, right? Uh, I know, Rohit. I take your point, but personally, I say, but just generically, a lot of people would suggest a Ferrari. I agree that some people will still want to go for a Land Rover, but somewhere I believe, just to keep it in this story, right? So for if I'm traveling with my wife, then I would probably in a city, then I will take up a Ferrari. And for a person, for me, if I'm traveling to a mountain with my wife, I would probably then take up a Land Rover. And why do we do that? Right? Why? The question, the important, very important aspect is why do we do that? Because we kind of understand that a Land Rover is 4x4. It offers me higher ground clearance, and it is perfectly suited for off-roading. Right? Whereas on the other side, right, a Ferrari would give me style, it would give me the comfort, it would give me the speed to, go in the city and reach any place faster, right? Uh, so I don't need to be a car engineer, or I don't need to be looking at the piston technology to give this answer, right? I don't need all that to be, right. I just really don't need to be a part. I don't need to develop an auto engineering or do all that. What I needed to understand was what is my purpose, right? And then what are the features of this car and what are the features of this car and which car solves my purpose the best, right? Was the only thing that I needed to know to pick a car, right? And it is in a very very similar fashion. And this thing we have developed because since we were small, a lot of us are excited about cars, right? A lot of us are reading about cars, looking at it, and so basically what is why we've internalized the understanding of a car. That car has an engine, they have tires, they have something called ground clearance and a lot of other things, right? So that is why now that mindset we have, and we are able to deliver and give you answers or the obvious answer pretty fast, right? And for this, we have not done any engineering, right? And we don't need to be an engineer to do that, right? In a very similar fashion, right? Uh, to a lot of my friends who are at senior positions, when they'll come back, okay, whenever I talk to them, it's about algorithms, right? And the beauty of artificial intelligence is that there are innumerable number of algorithms, and these algorithms are changing every year and year. There are multiple number of models. They're constantly changing. New are being added. The old ones are getting more stronger, and there are so many of them. And in case if you feel like going through each of them and then building, it will take years, right, for you to actually start applying them. And by the time when you start applying them, there will be another set of 100 which will be new, right? So you have to again learn them, and you will keep going on and on and on, right? Otherwise, if you want to become an engineer, if you want to do a PhD, then that makes sense. But as managers, what are we required to do? We are required to understand to when to apply what, right? And secondly, so one is that we need to understand when to apply what, and second, what we need to understand the strengths and the weaknesses of those algorithms, right? If I can cut through all these algorithms and categorize them on the basis of that, what kind of problem solves the which kind of algorithm can be used for to solve which kind of problem, or within a problem, if this is and these are the three algorithms which are there, then what are the strengths and weaknesses of each algorithm and how can I play with them, right? It is very very similar to this problem, right? Once you identify your problem, you have certain algorithms. Now you need to see which algorithm seems like, which algorithm is you believe can solve which problem, right? So you've got a given a problem, you have an algorithm. Now you need to identify which algorithm solves the problem the best, right? But you don't need to get into the depth of it, right? Probably you need to talk to your engineering team, you need to talk to your data science team, and tell them, okay, guys, we have a classification problem. Let's my understanding is that we can use some kind of classification algorithms like decision tree and neural nets, and then look at, okay, in a decision tree or in a neural network algorithms, what kind of algorithm within that what kind of algorithms can we use. Do we really have the capability or skill set to develop this and all that, and you talk that kind of stuff to your data science team. But you should probably, like, if you have a great understanding, even better. But then, go back to your team and say, okay, decision tree is something, or the data science team comes back and says, okay, I think we understand this problem as a classification problem, and we believe that we should apply decision tree. And they may say, okay, we apply decision tree because this. But your next question should be, why are we not using neural networks? You can say only, you can only counter your engineering team only when you know that there are two types of classification algorithms, neural networks and decision tree, right? Otherwise, you will just be giving them the requirements and they will keep solving it, right? And then eventually there will be no sense of direction, which will come in the whole program, right? So you need, so all to cut through all these algorithms, you need to know or when to apply what, and you need to understand the strengths and weaknesses of each algorithm, all right, and not look at getting into the depth of each of them, all right? So that is very critical. Now, for you, for you guys, for every one of us for that matter, right? What is critical to learn in artificial intelligence, right? For you to develop that AI mindset, for you to understand that which algorithm or which model should be applied to what kind of problem, right? Uh, is a technique. There are things which you need to understand, need to apply, and then once you do all that stuff, you are good to develop or even manage a team of data science or develop applications yourself. Okay, so step one is to learn the basics of artificial intelligence, understand what's deep learning, what is machine learning, how is AI, ML, and deep learning different from each other, what is artificial neural networks and how it is used. So you need to understand how artificial neural networks work, why an artificial neural network is better than a machine learning algorithm, or the vice versa. So you need to understand that kind of, develop that kind of an understanding so that your basics are clear, right? After taking care of your basics, what is important is to develop practical understanding of the AI capabilities. So when I say AI capabilities, there are four major capabilities of artificial intelligence. There are more also, but these four are right now the most important ones. One is computer vision. Second is natural language processing. Third is your voice artificial intelligence, and fourth is your data, right? So your data, your structured data, your sales data, and everything. So you need to develop an understanding of the capabilities. I'm talking about, don't, I'm not talking about the applications, but talking about the capabilities and what can they do, right? If you understand what computer vision can do for you, then you can apply that in your problem and solve the problem, right? So just taking an example uh, of computer vision for that matter, right? So computer vision has four key capabilities. Of course, there are more which are covered as a part of program and other places, right? But there are four key capabilities of computer vision that are being used today, right? One is facial recognition. So we are using facial recognition for supervision, for better security, for attendance, and many other applications. So one is facial recognition. This is multi-object detection. So in an image, multiple objects can be detected, right? This is being again used for multiple purposes, right? Again, for monitoring purpose, for any theft and all that stuff, right? Then the third capability of computer vision is activity recognition. What is the person doing, right? Whether the person is diving, skateboarding, swinging, sliding, what is the person doing? So this is facial recognition. This is multi-object detection. This is human activity recognition. And the fourth, which is also being used very much across everywhere in the globe, is called optical character recognition. That is called OCR, where you're able to identify what is written on a piece of paper. Okay, so these are four capabilities, and there are many more capabilities of computer vision, right? Emotion detection, and many are more, manufacturing, industrial capabilities of computer vision, which you need to understand, right? And when you understand that, okay, computer vision has these 10 abilities, then you are able to match it with your problem and solve the problem better. Okay, similarly, you in natural language processing, there are 10 capabilities. Voice AI, there are 7 8 capabilities. In data, there are multiple capabilities. And once you understand all these capabilities, right, then you will be able to map it to your problem, and solve the problem, or at least design the solution of that problem. Maybe not solve it, but maybe design the solution, and have an understanding that if I have to look at IRCTC as my problem, where I'm looking for kitchen hygiene, right? Then multi-object detection algorithms will play a very, very important role, right? So you go on to Google and search, okay, multi-object detection algorithms, and then you will have those algorithms, use them, and work on it. Otherwise, you will go and, you'll have to take a lot of time on Google, computer vision, within computer vision, how to detect a single object, multi-object, and all that stuff. But you will be able to refine your research, refine your design, and refine your solution if you already have those capabilities in your mind. Okay, then I tell there are six steps to solve any AI ML problem. Simple: step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6. And when you learn and have an understanding that how these steps work, what are the challenges, and how do you do it, you can lead any project, right? You can talk in any project, you can define the scopes of project, right? And each of these are simple steps, but if you have an understanding that how these steps go from here to here, and then who are involved in which steps, right? I think you will get some great understanding of working on an AI project, right? So learning the approach to solve an AI/ML problem is actually very important, right? Actively learn. Just 1 second. All right, I missed one slide. Just okay, I missed one slide right out here. I don't know where it went. Okay, so once you've done this, then you're talking about louder, and it is very critical. I missed one slide. I think it got deleted while I was making it. Uh, One very, very critical one is to get your own hands dirty, right? Get your own hands dirty in terms of developing these AI/ML applications and solving these problems by developing applications and solving it by yourself, right? And that is where there are a lot of now there are no coding tools or low coding tools which are available, which have been made available by Google, Azure, that is your Microsoft, and there are multiple more, right? Which you can actually use to actually solve these machine learning and deep learning problems. And once you do it, of course, you can watch someone play, but when you yourself will play, you will understand the game better, right? So what happens in that case is that after learning, if you learn the approach and then you solve it by yourself using those non-coding tools developed by Google, Azure, and everything, your confidence goes from here while watching the game. Then you started playing the game. Now your confidence is here, right? Where you can talk to the data science team and say, okay, you guys can develop it here. I have developed it, and these are the challenges which comes. So that is also the fourth step which I've missed here is to develop AI applications using non-coding tools, where You need to work on all these steps from starting from step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, 6. You do that yourself using these tools. And once you do that, your level of confidence, right, of developing AI applications or deploying or working on AI projects will be at the topmost level wherever and whenever you are, right? And of course, last but not the least is to be mentored, actively learn from your mentors and network, right? Because considerably this artificial intelligence is a new field, and you need mentors, and you need some people in your network to guide you and keep guiding you across the whole learning journey of yours. And not only the learning journey, but as you grow, you can be also become a contributor in your own community, right? uh, so all this, right, actually helps you to develop a AI mindset, right? So I've covered 5 steps overall, starting from the basics. So you need to learn the basics of artificial intelligence, just the basics, more from a product perspective, more from understanding that how these things work, how are they different from each other, and what leads to what. Right. Second is develop a practical understanding of those all those AI capabilities, which is possible through computer vision, natural language processing, voice AI, and understand what is computer vision and how does a system actually understand a computer, like how does it understand what it sees, and all that stuff. You need to kind of understand and develop a good understanding around it. Then it comes down to computer vision. Okay. So basically, I just gave an example. So first step is to learn the basics, talk about, develop a practical understanding of those AI capabilities, uh, learn the approach to solve those AI ML problems, right? Uh, Develop solutions, right, using those non-coding tools, right? Develop applications, get your hands dirty, and develop those solutions, and eventually actively learn from mentors and networking your. And once you do all these 5 activities, right, I'm sure that you have developed the AI mindset, and you are good enough to take up a product management role in an AI company, or as a manager in your own company, you are ready to become an AI champion and talk to AI solutions, and how AI can help you in your organization, and how can AI help organize the in you how AI can help you become a champion in your organization, talking about these leading technologies, right? And this is what we have over a period of last 1 year, is what we have developed and instilled this in our program, right, where we are talking about that how to make you become an AI champion, someone with an AI mindset, and more importantly, all that is fine, but more importantly, make you good enough to apply AI in your organization, right? So that's what the whole program is all about. That has now started. The applications process has started. It goes live on 28th of November, right? The cohort, we have already got a lot of entries coming in, and would love you guys to be a part of it, and get onto this journey of developing an AI mindset, which is the most critical skill set today that is expected from all the managers, across any industry wherever they are working, right? And the great part, which Piyush just currently told me, that we are offering a festive offer where we're reducing the price by 25% only for you guys for this whole next week. So latch on to the opportunity as much as possible, right? uh, Now I would like to just open up the whole thing for some questions, if we have any, and if you want to kind of thinking of asking me something very specific, or whatever you have in your mind. Otherwise, in between, what I will want is, Piyush, if you can just come in and explain the modalities. In the meanwhile, you can put the questions if you have. I will take these questions. So, Piyush, you want to take the center stage?
Yes, sure. Thanks a lot, Pallav, firstly, for taking our time and conducting this session for Pragmatic Leaders. I hope everyone here today have got some concrete takeaways from today's session, and we would definitely like to have all of you once again. Before we proceed further, I would like to thank all of you for taking our time in this festive season and joining us. A lot of such amazing
Hi.
sessions are lined up. Yes.
Uh, Hi, Pallav. Is it good time to ask a question?
Sure,
Hi,
please.
Piyush.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I thought you were making your concluding thoughts, so I just wanted to intervene here.
Sure.
So, Pallav, I work for a management organization. I was wondering, can you just share some tips if I have to write a PRD, which is, specific or has some aspects of artificial intelligence, right? So, what are those some of those cool tips that you would like to give as a product manager who is not very familiar with the technology, right? How do I go about making a recommendation or a feature which leverages AI?
Okay. Can you give me your name, please?
Hi, this is Yoshita.
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 Yoshita, I'm sorry. So I just, I was not able to hear very clearly, so I just put on the headphones. Can you come
Okay.
again, please?
Yeah. So I'm saying, let's say if I'm somebody who doesn't understand AI that well,
Mm-hmm.
right, and I want to leverage the technology to write a product requirement document or specification for a new feature,
Mm-hmm.
right? How would you suggest I go about it? How do I put my ideas into words?
Okay, great. So, Yoshita, there are two things. One is that are you working in a AI-driven company? So there are companies
No,
that is. So there are two things.
no, I'm not.
So one is that you're working in a traditional company, maybe,
Yes.
right? Now, second is let's just take a step back and not talk about the PRDs. First is to define your idea, right? I think a PRD is when everyone has agreed. Okay, then you kind of define and put it in a proper set, right? So
Yeah.
the most important thing for you is to buy in, right? Buy in from, because in a product role, one important thing is you get the requirement from the business team, right? And then you need to get a buy-in from everyone to, you know okay. So what I understand, you need to first get the business, you listen to the business, then you develop a solution, and then you get into the PRD stage, right? So for someone who's not have a great experience of artificial intelligence and still very, so what I would suggest in that case is to start reading about AI applications in your industry. Okay. So
Okay. Okay.
right. So when I was running a fashion technology company, I used to completely follow a couple of industry blogs. Right. So one was Flipkart, second was Myntra. Then there were a couple of US based companies in the space of artificial intelligence, in specifically in fashion. Right. So that what that helped me do was that while I was reading a Myntra blog, right, where it said that they are using artificial intelligence, where they're using artificial intelligence to make decisions on designs, right? Or which design should they produce, right? And that kind of told me, oh, dude, if I can use it, this kind of a thought process of this kind of a technology, I can use it for myself, right?
Yeah.
Then it will do wonders. So then I started reading more on it, and eventually understood that there is something called smart, using computer vision, you can do auto cataloging, right?
Mm.
Then I started
Yes.
searching a lot on the Google that how can you use computer vision for auto cataloging, right? Went through a couple of research papers, all right? And on those research papers, then I could identify, oh, great, this specific part of this research paper, solves my problem. And that is what I included in my PRD.
Got it. Got it. So, can I sum up by saying that I need to find some really great inspirational work in my field? So, I
In
work in
your
fintech.
industry. Yeah, in your
Yes, in my
industry.
industry.
Right.
Yes.
Because,
Okay.
otherwise, artificial intelligence is so huge, right?
Yes. Yeah.
It's like an ocean. Otherwise, you will get lost completely if you want to read everything.
Yes, makes
So,
sense.
right. So if you're an HR manager, then look at people working in the space of HR. If you're in the marketing side, then you look at AI and marketing. And within AI and marketing, whether the people are using natural language processing, computer vision, or voice AI, right? And
Yes, makes sense.
work on it on that sense. So that's what is required from a manager to have a manager perspective to this problem solution side. Makes sense,
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. Yeah.
right? All right. Great. So, Vishal, is any good books that you can recommend? Vishal, in the space of, okay, one good book. There's this guy. Just give me 1 second. I'll just search. Otherwise, if somebody has, uh, there is a book on AI by Pedro. Um, I'm just master. Okay, so I honestly I'm not learnt from books, right? But there is one book called, just I'm just sharing it here for everyone. Okay, so Vishal, I've really not learned a lot from books. I've learned a lot while applying, while reading a lot of research papers and everything. But this one book is kind of, being kind of, a lot of people have told me this is a nice book and everything. So I'm just sharing that book with you. I hope to read it sometime myself, but that's a good book which a lot of people have kind of suggested me. But otherwise, I majorly so my favorite thing which I always tell people, which I in fact told Yoshita also, that one of my favorite things to do is to find things on Google, find how can I solve my problem in Google. But you know, uh, before knowing what to search on Google is what is really very important. Otherwise, it will take years for you to, actually reach a point where you find it useful. So my favorites is ask what what you cannot Google. Right? There are a lot of things which are there. Same is the problem with with innumerable number of courses which are available online, and one of our courses, one of we are also offering one of our course, but that is what is different, that we come from a very practical point of view, and not making you engineers. We want to make you great managers and great product managers for that matter. Right? Any more questions we have? All right. And if you have any more questions, how to pitch an idea? Okay. Uh, Rohit, how to pitch an idea that will get you a buy-in? Pretty simple. You know, uh, okay, and that's the question, right? So that is pretty simple. That again, like if you first identify which industry you are in, and then within that industry, which business function you are in. Okay, then you need to, if you are a part of supply chain management, right, then identify that what is the challenge in that supply chain management, right? If the supply chain management is high inventory losses, right, so now the problem is high inventory losses. Okay, now in high inventory losses, you need to look at what are the traditional solutions that people have used, right? Traditional solutions could be using a warehouse management system, defining the SOPs and everything. Now, how much efficiency are they driving and how much cost do they involve? So that will be one. So basically, you do scenario comparison, right? And then you use, okay, if I use computer vision in my warehouse management, okay, or if I use voice AI, or I use IoT plus AI, then what kind of efficiency will I drive in my supply chain? And if that efficiency is far more than what traditional methods are going to do, it will get you a buy-in. In that sense, it's very simple, right? So if you say, okay, my current efficiency is at 80%, but with the use of artificial intelligence, my efficiency increases by 95%, then you will get a buy-in. That is one. Second is, look at industry use cases. Like, So what when I say look at industry use cases, for me, Mintra was a great industry use case. If you are in the hospitality sector, then look at how Airbnb is using all these technologies to make their whole company more become the leader in the world, right? So if there is an Airbnb case in the hospitality sector, then you can always go and present that to your management. If there is a manufacturing case, then probably take up a case from Tesla or take up a case from Apple, right, and show it to your management that this is how they applied AI in supply chain management and this is the benefit it drive. So I believe that if we apply for this problem, if we apply this thing, it will drive benefits. So you can do something of that sort. But yes, then you should have an in-depth understanding of what you are saying. Otherwise, it will just look like a case study. Right? So it's important to have some in-depth understanding of the benefits if you are asked for. All right. Are there any more questions we have?
I think we can wind up the session here.
All right, great. And so before I leave, if you have any more questions, I'll be happy to answer on my just on my email. You can just give me 1 second. .io. I think I've got my email ID. I've sent it to everyone. So probably this is the right one. Second, we will be sending out emails, Piyush, right? Where
Right.
you can book, book a one-on-one call with me, where I'll critically understand that do you really need to do the program, or you should be a part of this program, or otherwise also, help. Otherwise also help you out, right? Figuring out any stuff you want to. So that's what will be the thing. And Piyush, do you want to just explain
Yes.
any modalities?
Right. So I've shared link to join the call with Pallav in the chat section. If you have any queries, you can connect with him. Apart from this, we have some interesting sessions lined up in upcoming months. So you can stay connected with us. I'll share link of our product community in chat section. You can join us over there. And yes, if you have any queries related to the program, related to anything, I have shared link of uh, our program in the chat section. We have other programs as well. You can explore this. If you have any queries, you can reach out to me or reach out to Pallav directly. And rest all the details I'll share with you on email.
All right, great. And thank you. And everyone, have a great, happy Diwali. The people who are in Delhi NCR, have a safe Diwali, and just stay positive and stay there wherever you are. All right. All right. Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Thanks a lot.